Hey there, how's it going,
Hey.
everybody? How's it going? Happy holidays, because we know everybody's out enjoying. Wish we could have been with everybody for Christmas, but you know,
Merry Christmas,
Yes.
depending on what time of year you're looking at this. But Merry Christmas and Happy New Year that's coming up.
yes, absolutely, absolutely,
Welcome to our channel. We're Terrence and Jill, a God-Ordained union.
yes,
And so if this is your first time on our channel, please come back. If you are feeling like, where in the heck is my soulmate?
yeah,
You feel like you've been waiting and praying and waiting for a long time and he or she has not come. We know how you feel. Our story is so simple. We were just like you in the waiting room for a long time. I had
Very
never
long
been
time.
married, never had any children. I quote unquote missed motherhood, but I never settled.
yes.
And you never
Neither
settled.
did I. Neither did I. And I was over 50 when we met.
Yes, and I was
had
just
been,
at 50.
Yeah, and I had been divorced for 14 years or so before she and I met. After my divorce, so I've been single for a long time before her, and
So-
I didn't settle either.
Yeah, we knew what we wanted. We knew what we deserved. We knew what we needed, and so so this channel is all about what's our vision, baby?
Yeah, our vision is to help increase kingdom marriage.
Yep, and our channel and our mission is to help you mainly look at those things within yourself that could be blocking you.
Yes.
Could be blocking
As you navigate through being in God's waiting room, which is what I call the elevation room.
Yes.
But as you go through God's waiting room and as you're waiting for your prayers to be answered, we are here to say, you know what? We've been there with you. We know exactly what you're going through. We've been there, done that. Here's what we were thinking when we went through those things. Here where we was in our journey to meeting each other. So
This is what the dating scene looked like for us. This is the bull crap we had to go through.
We're not here to give you any type of dating advice whatsoever.
None.
We're just here to share our
Or relationship
experiences.
advice. We're just sharing our experiences and what we went through.
As
And
we were in God's waiting room
Yep.
for the same thing you're waiting for right now.
Yep, and of course, given what the word says, and so it'll help you along your way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Please tune in every Tuesday evenings, 7 p.m.
Yes, new
Eastern
time.
Standard Time. Yeah, we used to go at 8 p.m., but now when the new year is coming up, 2025, it's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so,
Lord.
yes. So, please tune in every Tuesday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, when we go live. And then catch our first few videos. We have over 500 and something videos on here. This is going on our 4th year on YouTube. But if you want to know our story and how we met, how Terrence said he knew I was the one, how I said I knew he was the one, those in those first 5 videos. So yeah, what you see is what you get. We don't do no editing to these videos. So we do, what you see is what you get.
And you know, in our first 5, it's probably going to be really the most raw that you've ever seen when it comes to us explaining exactly why we got the platform, why it was started. And then as we started to learn about who we were on this platform and what we were going to be presenting, all of those things was probably established in our first 5 videos.
Yes. So, all right. So we got a topic today
Yes.
for you ladies, and some men too, maybe some thoughts that you have. But the question is, what is he really thinking on the first date? Like, what's the thoughts that's really going in his mind?
I'm willing to bet none of you are going to be able to think about what was my first thought and what I was thinking going through my first date with her.
And this is probably for a lot of men as well. This is probably what they're thinking as well. Because we thinking, what we think, ladies, is he the one? But that's usually not what they're thinking.
No.
So, baby,
Yes.
what are men thinking on their first date?
I can tell you there's a lot of things men could be thinking. But for me personally, what I'm always thinking on a first date, and I thought the same thing with you when we first started, and that is, do I want to see her again tomorrow?
Wow. And you know what's funny about that is because for those of you who do not know our story, I first came across Terrence on a dating app, not knowing about a year later that he had stopped his subscription on that dating app, and that dating app kept his profile current and visible as if it was current, but it really wasn't. But in the profile, Terrence said, he said on the first date, you know, I'm not looking for anything more than, do I want to see you tomorrow? And he's always said that. He's always, even a year or 2, 3 years later after us getting to know each other, that's always been all throughout these videos on YouTube. It's always been his thing. He said his thought was, I just want to know if I want to get to know her, if I want to see her again tomorrow, because there's no sense of thinking any further.
Well, I think if she's the one, knowing that if she's the one, we're going to see each other every single day for the rest of our lives if I don't want to see her again tomorrow.
Wow. So that was your...
I just think, I think people put too much pressure on themselves and on the other person when they're trying to meet someone for the first time. They want to go on a date, and regardless where that date is, and all they doing is sitting there punching each other with these serious life-changing questions.
Interview.
And you don't even know if the person want to see you again. To me, it's like, well, do you want to have children? I don't even know if I want to see you tomorrow. How are we going to have children?
Right. You know? Do you know what church you want to go to? I don't even know if I want to see you tomorrow.
Yeah. Are you doing things in your community? What? It's like, why learn all of those things if we don't first learn that we actually enjoy each other's company and want to see each other again?
Wow. And it's funny because when I first read that in your profile, and it was kind of cocky, I was like, but it was confidence. And that kind of made me attracted to you, because it really made me attracted to you, because I was like, oh my God, like, he's so confident. And I like that about him. Even though it was kind of intimidating, it drew me closer to you. And so when we, of course, those of you who don't know our story, it was about 6 months after I saw him on the dating app that we started talking. And then a year after that, I mean, it was a process. But
we didn't see each other for almost like the first year and a half.
Yes, we didn't physically see each other. And so when we saw each other, the funny thing is that he had conditioned me to not ask for anything beyond the moment. And so I had no expectations. Because my thought, every time we saw each other, I kept saying to my mom, I wonder if he wants to see me tomorrow. I wonder if he wants to see me tomorrow. And then from our very first date meeting, we saw each other every weekend after that. And 6 months after we saw each other for the first time, and this is after talking on long distance for a whole year, when we first saw each other, I mean, the 6 months after, he proposed. But you trained me well, because I knew not to run past the ball.
Well, and that's a perfect phrase. And I say that because I get it. You want to be married. You want to find the person God has for you. But we have to remember that, especially if it's a person that you didn't know before God introduced you, you still got to allow the time for y'all to get to know each other. It still needs to be generic. You can't run up on a man with a gun and say, God told me you're my husband, and if you don't come with me, I'm shooting you in the head.
Because God said you're the one.
Yeah.
You got to use wisdom.
Because you got to also understand that God met you and met him on different time frames. So God is still working out when he's going to connect y'all's path to be on the same time frame. And the introduction isn't to put you on the same time. It's just to introduce you, to say, yep, this is what I have for you. But you want it to grow organically. If you try to force it, if you try to talk to me about getting married 2 seconds after we meet, I'm going to think you're crazy.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You have to really use wisdom, because those of you who have been rocking with us since day one. You know the story. I knew he was the one.
Yeah.
He didn't know he didn't know I knew that. He didn't know if I was the one either. Or we didn't know if each other knew that. But I knew in my spirit that this was the one. But I had to use wisdom, and it probably wasn't until after we got engaged that I told him I knew he was the one. But yeah, I never said, God said you're the one, and you're mine. I never, because even though I knew in my spirit that he was the one, I allowed it to grow organically. And the truth of the matter is that we both have choice. And so God gives us his, our own personal will. Even though he has his perfect will for us, we can desire what we can choose what we want. And so even though I felt in my spirit that he was the one, Terrence could have very well said, I don't want you. And so, so
you have to just go into this knowing that
day by
one,
day,
you're going to have to put yourself out there.
It's a faith move.
You're going to have to make a faith move and put yourself out there. But you need to put yourself out there with telling yourself that what if I do everything perfectly? I put myself out there. I'm vulnerable. I share everything that I want people to know about me, and they still don't like me.
And they still don't choose me.
Can I regain my composure? And try again, giving that next person the same energy I gave to the first, even though it didn't work out the first time.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about love is, can you do this multiple times if the person you meet next isn't the one for you? And
and sometimes, so it's not so much. I don't know if it's so much about getting into his head than just being your true or authentic self day by day. And that's really what I didn't have a choice to do, was to be my true authentic self. And I was like, we're going to like each other or we're not. And I'm okay with either one. I'm at peace with either one. Like, whatever it's going to be, is going to be. I'm going to enjoy the moment. And we were through the pandemic, so that also caused a different outlook on life. It was like we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. So we're just going to... As a
matter of fact, when we first started on the phone, texting, the job that I worked at basically told us we couldn't even drive beyond like 50 miles.
Right, without getting permission.
Without having to get permission, because if not, then we needed to be tested for the virus before they would let us come back to work.
Yeah, because, your job never stopped. You always had to go in. So... so it really slowed us down. It really made us put things into perspective. And I always kept in my head, I respected his boundaries, that he just wanted to take things slow. And I remember when you said to me in a text, you said, I like you. I really want to get to know. You said something about, let me just paraphrase, but why wouldn't I want to get to know you? Like he said, but I want to take it slow. Right. And I responded, I said, slow is perfect. Yeah, so when we saw each other and started dating, I knew I'm just waiting to see if he wants to see me again next weekend, since we were long distance. I'm just waiting to see. And then one weekend, I drove to his hometown, and he popped a question. He asked me to marry him, which caught me completely off guard. So a lot of times we, as women, we're thinking, on that first date, is he the one? Is he going to ask me, does he want to be married? Does he want kids? Does he this? Slow down.
Yeah.
Slow down.
And I remember telling her on the way to her place the very first time, I told her I was nervous. And she said, why? She said, you don't think that you're going to like me? And I said, no, I already know I like you. I'm worried about you're not going to like me once you see me in person versus us being on the phone. Are you going to still like me after we actually meet in person? So
your other thought was, well, we're going to have the same connection.
Yeah. So that's another thing that I thought about was, are we going to be able to speak as easily as we did over the phone in person? Because, sometimes when you first meet somebody in person, you have those uncomfortable silences where you're kind of thinking of what topic to bring up. What do I say next? And so I was wondering if that was going to actually play a factor in us seeing each other for the first time, or we're just going to sit there looking at each other with nothing to say, or is it just going to be a natural chemistry like it was over the phone?
Wow.
Yeah. You know, and here's the thing. That's just what I think. You know, I know other guys might be thinking, you know, about the physical attraction. You know.
They could be thinking, you know, does she measure up to my ex?
Yeah.
Or is she the one? They could be thinking, is she the one?
Now, I will say this too. Women, just so y'all know, a lot of men, you know, men are always talking to other men about, yeah, we dating up and we're looking for that woman, because we always have this thing in our head of saying, I need to find somebody that's, you know, outside of, you know, what I normally date or whatever. So we think about dating up all the time. So if a man meets you and he looks like he's intimidated, don't take that as a weakness. It's actually a compliment. Him saying, I ain't used to going out with women that's articulate. I am not used to going out with intelligent women. I'm not used to going out with women of such standards. And I need to bring my A game, or I need to pick myself up to her level. So he may be creeping because he's nervous about making that wrong statement or something that might tell you that he's beneath the standard that he feels you are.
And which is a great point, and it goes into another video, which we're not going to expound on it here. But women, if he's nervous on that first date, you may want to press in, because maybe that's a good indication that you're the one, because you're taking him out of his comfort zone and helping to elevate, because that's what we're here for, is to be the helpmeet, elevate him to his to the level God has for him. So if he, like my husband said, you know, we look at dating up to them could means he's beneath you. You take that out your mind, because that may be why God put you in his life, is to help him get to the next level. So that's a whole nother video, but that's a good thought to know that guys are thinking that they want to, you know, they want to date up, but they don't want to be rejected or whatever. So
you know, I'm looking to see, is she smiling? Does it look authentic? Does it look like she's preoccupied because she's waiting for
this to be
an exit to get out of the room or to leave the date? You know, I'm looking to see, okay, she look like she's genuinely having some fun.
Wow.
You know, is she actually smiling at my jokes?
Right.
Or is she looking at me like I'm going to give him a fake smile, but I'm reading into it like, oh, she didn't find that funny.
So it's just safe to say that men are usually thinking about the moment. They're not thinking beyond the moment.
Well, men are still visual creatures. So if a man is looking at you like he's ready to eat you up because he just thinks you're that beautiful, that sexy, that whatever, you know, God put in us to be.
That's what I'm saying. It's in the moment.
Visual creatures.
Yeah, that's the moment.
You know, that is what it is. But
that ain't what you thought. Thank God.
Well,
because that would have been turned off.
But see, but here's the thing.
I don't know if that's what you thought, though.
But here's the thing, though. God led us. So it was divine that we text first. It was divine that we were on the phone first, because it gave us an opportunity to go beyond anything. Yeah, look, you jumped in my arms when I first opened your door.
I really did.
So the physical,
really
you know, you jumped in my arm.
And not only did I jump in his arm, but I was 30 pounds smaller. And let me just tell y'all, I had on a halter dress.
So
I had a long maxi halter dress on.
So God
it was in
plays.
June. It was in the summertime, and I had on a halter dress.
Yeah.
So
God plays it, because again, if you're letting God order your steps to meeting this person, he knows exactly what means what in your heart, and he knows exactly what means what in the other person's heart, and he's going to orchestrate it in a way where it's a win-win. So the fact that we met and then text and phoned and all of this stuff, it was because if we would have came at each other any other way, I wouldn't have recognized the things about her that I did, and she wouldn't have recognized the things about me that she did.
Yeah.
So, You got to have God in your life. If we don't point you back to God, then this whole platform is wrong.
Right, yeah. So that first date, it really doesn't matter what he's thinking. What did God say? Yeah. And even though he has his, which is a great point, because he could be thinking that he's not interested, even though in your spirit you know that God told you that he's the one. Wisdom say, don't tell him God said you're the one. Use wisdom. But we also did a video. I did a video. It was months ago. It might have been a year ago. I'll put it right up here after this video. What you need to pray for. What the things that to pray for who you believe is your spouse, because God can very well say that this is y'all are the ones for each other, but again, we have free will. So he could say, I'm not interested for whatever reason. And so, but you believe that God said that he's one. So there's some things you need to pray for. Of course, you can't override his will. You respect his boundaries, and then but I'll put that video up here, the things to pray, because it could be something that's blocking him in his past, that he saw in his past.
Well, God, remember, when y'all first meet, normally God is going to find him at a different spot in his life than he found you. So he's working those things out, and he may not have revealed to him that you're the one for him yet, because he's still working on some things. Right. So don't think that just because God told you, like she said, you don't have to reveal that to him. That's between you and God.
You don't have to reveal that to him.
You can keep that to yourself and allow God wisdom. What he needs to, the timing that he needs to work this out in whatever way he sees. Because God might say, look, you were about to make a big mistake, so I'm just going to tease you and show you who I got. Although my timing for y'all may not be for the next 3 years, I'm going to show you right now so I can kind of bring you back a little bit.
And that's basically what happened to us, because I approached him, and y'all know the story. He rejected me. It's in the first 5 videos. And it was a whole nother, I took my hands off of it. I continued to pray. I never said, well, God said you're the one, ever. And I was okay, and I was at peace if we never was together, because I realized that we all have free will. Even though God says this is the perfect will, that's your husband, but God hadn't revealed it to him yet. And so it took almost a whole year, from December to the next November. Took my hands off of it. We stayed Facebook friends from afar. Whenever he would post, which was hardly ever, I would see something that he posted, but I didn't contact him again. And then God revealed to him, and then he came to my DM almost a year later. So if God said that that's the one, be patient. Continue to pray. So I'll put that video up here about what women should be praying for their men. I'll definitely put that here. But so that's what y'all thinking.
That's what we're thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, men ain't focused on meeting you and saying you're my wife. We're looking forward to meeting you and saying,
getting to know you.
I want to get to know you, and let it play itself out naturally. To say, okay, I see.
Because they're a little slow.
She has some wife tendencies. Yes. So. All
right. So that's it for the Smiths.
Yeah.
All right.
So you guys have a very wonderful remainder of your day.
Yes. All right. And we'll see you on the next video.
Yes. Deuces.